Plaintiff Jonathan Heffel says after he proposed to the defendant, he discovered he was a heroin addict, and then the defendant became physically abusive. Jonathan is suing his ex for an engagement ring, a washer and dryer, and emotional distress. Defendant John Graham says a year into their relationship, Jonathan started using cocaine, which eventually led him to smoking crack on a daily basis. John claims he broke up with Jonathan due to his drug use, and he's countersuing for defamation.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Hi, yes. I met John Graham in January 2020, and I wanted to marry this man and spend the rest of my life with him.
When did you want to marry him? How long after meeting him?
A few months after.
A few months?
Yeah. Okay, probably like 6 months after, Your Honor.
Okay.
Then I found out he was a functioning heroin addict. And I couldn't put up with it. And I pleaded.
How'd you find out?
I found out when I seen a bag of heroin sticking out his wallet, Your Honor.
That's a clear sign.
Yes. And I pleaded for him multiple times to get help.
Well, let me say first, you know, I have big ego, so I like to pat myself on the back. I've just come to conclude I got a big ego. So, but you hear me say all the time, 1 year, you all just reinforce y'all make me have a big ego. Because I always say, wait 1 year because you can hide a drug addiction, typically a crack habit. You can hide that for a year. But you'll catch them if you wait. You waited. No, you didn't wait. That's the problem. You didn't wait to move in, did you? You moved in 6 months, didn't you?
He moved in with me, Your Honor.
All you had is 6 months to go. You only had 6 months left. And you went to the Judge Mathis rule and you wouldn't be here. Judge Mathis rule, wait until a year. If they can get past a year and you don't see crack or heroin or pills, then they're clean. All right? 6 months. He would have never been here. What else he do? I know he ran through your whole bankroll. He said, Give me some more background. So you all meet January of 20.
Yes.
And how did it go?
Shortly after that, a couple of my friends told me to stay away from him. I failed to listen. And then he moved in shortly after that. And we started dating. And then a few months later, I gave him an engagement ring.
Okay, but what was his behavior like while you all were dating? He probably didn't disappear much. That's crack. He probably sat in the chair all day. You didn't have to worry about him disappearing. He couldn't go nowhere. He laid back like that. Crack, they disappear on you, Doc.
At first, he was I didn't notice it because he would go in the car a lot and hide in the car. And then when I noticed it, when he became physically abusive.
Really?
Yes, and started putting his hands on me when he started withdrawing.
Give me an example. Give me an incident.
So, like, an incident is like back in March of before we broke up, he hit my head off the car window at the gas station.
What? Say it again.
He hit my head off the door frame at the gas station.
Hit your head on what?
Door frame.
Accidentally opening the door?
He bashed my head off the door frame and kicked me out of the moving car. When a bystander called the cops, because my phone was in his car when he took off.
Now, what had provoked that in your opinion?
He was coming down from the heroin. He was arrested later for possession with a crack pipe and 2 bags of heroin.
But what was said before he assaulted you?
He basically was just started swearing at me because I asked him for some money for a coffee, and he just immediately snapped at me and threw the money at me, and then hit my head off the window.
Something's missing in this incident, though, sir. Let me hear from you.
Hi, Your Honor. He's a complete liar. He's a crackhead. Crackheads are always going to lie. he won't admit, he lies to all his friends, his family. He's a major crackhead, and this is why I don't want to date him. Anyways, I
Is that
dropped him.
true, sir?
No, it's not true, Your Honor.
Yes.
I was
How a crackhead gonna look down on a dope fiend?
I was not a crackhead.
At least they don't disappear.
I work
got the
full-time in
evidence,
a
sir.
volunteer firm.
I got that.
Count on them being there. At least you can count on a dope fiend.
I was not
You can count on the heroin and the
Right.
pill addict. You can count on them being there for you. They too high to go anywhere.
Right.
Can't count on a crackhead because they run off all the
I was
time.
too busy working full-time in the volunteer fire department. I was a volunteer fireman and working full-time.
Your Honor, he's a liar.
Did you want to marry him? How long after meeting him?
A few months after. Then I found out he was a functioning heroin addict. And
How'd you find out?
I found out when I seen a bag of heroin sticking out his wall, Your Honor.
That's a clear sign.
Plaintiff Jonathan Heffel was engaged to the defendant, who he claims is a heroin addict. But the defendant insists Jonathan is a crackhead who spent all of his money on drugs.
Give me some background on the relationship, and then you can take it up to there.
Okay.
You met in January 20. How did things
January
go?
2020. Things went great. I was clean from heroin for a year. I was on Suboxone when I first met Jonathan. What made me attracted to Jonathan was his ambition of being a volunteer firefighter and him wanting to become a cop. He didn't use drugs when I first met him. He was totally clean for a year.
And you were clean.
And I was clean too. I was on
So
Suboxone.
y'all drove each other back to drugs. Go ahead.
Right. Anyways, we moved to Georgia. He was clean for a whole year. You know, he had goals set for himself. A year later, he became addicted to cocaine, and then the cocaine led into him smoking crack every day, and it would make us fight because I kept telling him we're going to lose our house, we're going to lose our cars, we're going to lose everything. He just wouldn't stop smoking crack. So I got fed up with it. We got evicted from our house in Georgia because he had spent all his money on crack and wouldn't pay the bills.
Did you tell him to try heroin or whatever it is that's cheaper?
No.
You know heroin is cheaper because...
Your Honor, I didn't do...
You listen, I'm trying to give you some advice. You done lost everything on crack. If you'd have used heroin, you wouldn't have lost everything. But crack, you got to have that all day. You never stop with crack. If whatever money you have in your pocket is gone, whatever money is on your credit card, ATM, it's gone. Every day.
Yep.
How much 8-ball cost?
I have no idea, Your Honor.
You do.
I do not.
Well, that's right, because you only buy them a rock at a time. You need to buy your 8-ball so you wouldn't waste all your money buying one rock at a time.
Your Honor, I wasn't using
You
drugs.
don't know math.
I wasn't using drugs.
Determine math
Your
before
Honor.
you
Yes,
choose
he
your
is.
drug.
He's a major
You learn
crackhead.
math
Your
before
Honor,
you
I'm
choose
lying
the
to you.
drug you're going to be on so
got-
you'll know to be hooked on the
Your Honor,
cheapest
I got a
thing.
video
He
showing-
know to be hooked on the cheapest
got a
thing
video-
at least,
Your
don't
Honor.
you? You know what to be hooked on, sir, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a major crackhead.
Yeah,
Don't let him
Right,
lie
that's
to
why
you.
people don't use crack no more. What?
I got a video showing the abuse.
You what?
I got a video showing the abuse I had to deal with.
Oh, okay. Well,
Can you
I'll
play it,
stop
Your Honor?
having fun on this part. So let me take a look.
That's when he kicked me out in March.
I can show you how much I care. I'll dump it.
When you tried swinging at me.
What was that incident? What was going on?
That was when he called off the engagement and kicked me out in March. And he threw out my belongings, and that's how he was.
Yeah, because I was tired of him smoking crack in my grandparents' house.
I would
and I
not.
just didn't want to be around every day because we'd fight constantly because he would want to buy crack all the time and spend every single dollar on crack, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
But-
I wanted to get my life back on track. I didn't want to become a crackhead like him. I just couldn't deal with
who
it.
called off the relationship?
I did. And I kicked him out of my grandparents' house when he moved back from Georgia up to New
What
York.
reason did you tell him you wanted to break off the?
I told him I wanted to break up because I was tired of him being violent all the time, and I'm tired of him being high on crack all the time. And I just couldn't be around it anymore.
Why did you all have to have that incident? Why did that have to occur? He wouldn't leave on his own?
He wouldn't leave on his own.
Let me hear from you. When did he first ask you to leave, if he did? Or you tell me what precipitated the move.
Your Honor, when he asked me to leave,
Did he say why?
no, he did not say why, Your Honor.
Did you ask?
I kept begging him, and he said, get the out of my house.
I know. You begged him what?
I begged him and asked him, can you please give me a reason?
Okay.
And at that point, that's when he came irate, and in the video showing him almost trying to swing at me.
Okay, and you're suing for the engagement ring, washer, and dryer. So let's go back. When was the engagement ring given?
That was given to him like 5 months after we started dating, Your Honor.
Okay. So you proposed and gave him an engagement ring?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And he has it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so you want that back since the marriage did not occur?
Yes.
Because engagement ring is a gift conditioned upon marriage. It's a conditional gift, meaning here it's yours, but if we don't meet the condition, give it back. But what was his behavior like while you all were dating? He probably didn't disappear much. That's crack. He probably sat in the chair all day.
At
You didn't
first
have to worry about him disappearing. He couldn't go nowhere. He laid back like that. Crack, they disappear on you,
at
Doc.
Plaintiff Jonathan Heffel was engaged to the defendant, who he claims is a heroin addict. But the defendant insists Jonathan is a crackhead who spent all of his money on drugs.
Tell me about the washer and dryer. What happened there?
The washer and dryer, we were evicted from our house in March because he was using the money for heroin. I was working full-time, and after I would go work at the dealership as a detailer, I would do Uber rides.
I know what you would do. He already told us what
No,
you
I'd
would
be
do
doing
after
Uber rides.
work.
I'd be doing Uber rides right after work every day for like 6-7 hours. And
They ever caught you with anything in the car?
no, no, Your Honor.
They never caught you?
I had nothing. I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, okay.
There's no proof I was. There's proof he was because he takes the boxing strips.
Go ahead.
And so after the breakup in March, I asked him, "Can I get my washer and dryer out of your storage unit, as far as my dead grandpa's clock, and all my stuff was in his unit?" He said no, and he was refusing to give me possession of my washer and dryer back.
Okay. Let me hear from you, sir, about the ring and the washer and dryer.
That is not true. I told Jonathan when we got evicted from our house in Georgia, we left a washer out in front of our property, and we were supposed to come back and get it. That was stolen off our property, which he knows about it because he called the Georgia police and reported it stolen.
Is that true?
No, Your Honor.
Yes.
Go ahead. That's a
He sure
very
did.
big lie by somebody.
He knows the washer was stolen off our property because we couldn't fit it in our moving truck when we were bringing it to our my storage unit. The only thing we brought was his dryer, which we did put it in my storage unit, his dryer, not the washer. It was stolen
Where's
off
the
the property.
dryer then?
The dryer was stolen out of my facility, and I called Jonathan the day the
The
manager
one was stolen out the yard, and the other one was stolen out
of my storage unit. Yes.
Your Honor.
These are on.
Right. Hanging around nothing but thieves.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
The only way someone can get in that unit, they have to have like a fob on their phone.
Do you know how they broke in, and what did the storage facility
The storage
tell you?
facility unit lady told me that somebody broke into the gate at the facility, and called me and said that my storage unit was broken into. It wasn't just his dryer stolen, it was a few other things of my
Do
property.
you have any
stolen out of my unit.
communication from anyone attesting to this? A former conversation with him, perhaps, explaining what happened?
It was a phone
by
call.
text?
It was just a phone call.
Oh, just calls? All right. You only talked about it one time with him?
Yeah.
No, Your Honor. He told me, quote unquote, I threw your washer and dryer out.
Nobody has any communications on that? And did you call the police, anyone, after the break-in?
I didn't even know there was a
Did
break-in.
you call the police? What's that you
Yeah,
want
this
show
is the picture of the storage unit of his dryer is not in there. Does it show it in there? That's all the stuff that's in my storage unit.
It was
No, it wouldn't be there if it was stolen.
It wouldn't
It
be
wa-
there if
Your-
it
If
wasn't
it was
stolen.
stolen, no. it
Your
wouldn't.
Honor.
It's already gone.
I didn't know no,
So, go ahead, sir.
I didn't know nothing about a break-in. We put the unit, the washer and dryer, in the back. We put all the big stuff in the back first, and put the
When
smart stuff
he
front.
never informed you it was
No, he
stolen
did not, Your Honor.
prior?
I was not informed at all.
I don't
Until
understand.
when? You never at all?
Never at all. When I asked him for possession of it back, he said he threw it out, quote unquote, so I can get a whole new set when I move out back to Florida.
But you have no communications indicating that. What were you saying, sir?
I don't understand why he's gonna sit there and lie when you knew the washer was on our property in Georgia and it got stolen. You called the police in Georgia.
The only thing that was stolen off that property was our friend's handcart that we were borrowing.
No, the washer was stolen off our property in Georgia. The only thing that was in that
Your
storage unit was
counterclaim
his
for
dryer.
$3,500. How does he owe you?
Because I'm suing him for defamation of character for falsely accusing me of hitting him at a gas station, which I never did, because I was arrested for possession and not assault.
Okay. Anybody have any evidence of that?
No, but I got
Yes,
I got evidence of I got the police report.
That's what I'm referring to.
Report too of what I was arrested for. I was arrested
What page
for
is yours
possession.
on? What page is the
That
evidence?
is on page.
Okay, and what page is your evidence that you were looking to present?
Page 4
Mine
of
was,
mine of my arrest.
Mine was page 5 and 6, where I did not press charges, and that's clearly stated in the report.
If I hit you, if I assault you, I would have been arrested for assault and not possession.
And I told him that's how it happened because a bystander seen an incident. He's the one that called the cops because my phone was in his car when he took off.
So just shut up. You're probably already high on crack.
My phone, Your Honor, my phone was in his car when he took off.
Sir, I'm trying to see. I don't see a charge at all on.
No, it said I didn't press charges.
Arrest.
It said I didn't press charges.
Yeah, because I never hit you.
It
Yeah,
just says
I left you at
arrested.
the
It
gas
doesn't say
station, so
what
I
he
didn't
was
hit you.
arrested for.
Because my phone was in his car,
Where's yours? Page what?
5 and 6.
Does it say what he was arrested for?
No. It just said I didn't press charges for the domestic.
It does say that?
Yeah, I did not press charges for the...
Where? I don't see. Statement of allegations?
Yep.
It's all wrinkled up.
Yeah, I mean, I got the original right here.
Fight about money. Hit
Don't lie to Judge Mathis. He'll call you out on your
head
head.
Officer Cal while moving. Choked me. My possession with his car.
Yep, my
Fight over
nothing.
money. What does that say about coffee?
That's the money he was giving me for coffee. I asked for...
Fight over money about coffee.
Yeah.
No, Your Honor. Can I speak why I gave him money for change to get a coffee? I did that just so I could leave him, just so I can get him out of my vehicle. I gave him all my change in my car to get a coffee so I can leave him at that Delta Sonic car wash in Buffalo, New York.
A crackhead gonna look down on a dope fiend.
I was not a crackhead.
At least they don't disappear.
I work
got that
full-time in a
evidence, sir.
volunteer firm.
I got that.
Count on them being there.
I was not
You
a...
can count on the heroin and the pill addict. You can count on them being there for you. They too high to go anywhere.
Plaintiff Jonathan Heffel was engaged to the defendant, who he claims is a heroin addict. But the defendant insists Jonathan is a crackhead who spent all of his money on drugs.
Okay, what damages have you suffered, sir, from this?
What damages?
Yes. From the defamation, how were you damaged? How did it damage your reputation?
It damaged my reputation because he was falsely accusing me of assaulting him, and I never did. He keeps plastering to all
How
my
is
friends
your
and family.
reputation? Who says they look at you differently now?
A couple of my friends.
How do they know about it?
Because Jonathan texts them all the time and sending them fake pictures of me hitting, or a fake picture of him with a bruise on his head.
Is that
to
true?
two of
No,
my friends.
I did not send that to him, Your Honor.
Anybody have evidence of any of this?
I got evidence of the bruise, yes.
Okay, I
It was
saw
not
that.
self-inflicted.
Yeah, I saw that. And that's part of your emotional distress
Yeah.
today? All right, so why didn't you want to charge him then?
Because at the time, he manipulated my mind so much where, like, every time he apologized, I would go back, and I felt guilty. I didn't want him to stay in jail. I felt bad.
Okay, that's common. Just wanted you to be able to tell me the reason, and that's not uncommon.
Oh, and another thing, Your Honor, is the whole assault thing is he assaulted me in Georgia with pepper spray, and he's
No.
still dealing with the case
No,
in
I'm
the state
not.
of Georgia.
He showed me paperwork where he told the police officer at the time they described seeing the injuries, and thirdly, he's saying the only reason he didn't charge you today. What is your evidence of the injury you suffered from him, of you telling the police you suffered that injury, and a picture of the injury? If you don't have any of that, then your evidence certainly won't measure up. I'll grant you $800 for the ring, $1,000 for the assault. That's $1,800. With regard to your counterclaim, sir, I'm going to dismiss it. You have not been able to prove that he defamed you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Junior, I'm sorry it didn't work out the way it did. I still want to, hopefully still be friends, but I wish you the best.
You're a crackhead. You'll always be a crackhead. Look how bummy you came to court with the same Jordans I gave you.
Yeah.
Your teeth are rotted. I did at one point love you, but I don't anymore because you're a loser. You don't have no car. You dress like a bum. You don't shower.
I'm not.
And,
I got my
but anyways, I
license.
wish you the best though, and I really do hope you change your life around.